So today we're talking about pH and pOH. And basically pH is the opposite of pOH. So anything on the pH scale that is a base is going to be on the opposite side of a pOH scale. So a 2 is very acidic for the pH scale. However, a 2 on the pOH scale is very basic, and vice versa. An 8 on the pOH scale is very acidic for that scale, and an 8 for the pH scale is extremely basic. So it's just the opposite. So for this problem, which doesn't entail pOH, we're just dealing with pH, it is what is the pH of a solution that has a plus charge of 1.7 times 10 to the negative third molarity. So the formula in order to find this out is pH equals negative log times the charge. So this is a button on your calculator, that's all you're going to press. So we would plug it in and you would get pH equals negative log times 1.7 times 10 to the negative third. And when you plug that in, you would get pH equals, which equals 2.7695511079. Now, just because we're dealing with pH doesn't mean that sig figs change. So we have to round this number to sig figs. So the number we're given has 2 sig figs, so now we're going to round this to 2 sig figs. This will round up to 2.8. So that is your final answer for the pH. Okay, so this problem is asking what is the positive charge of a solution that has a pOH of 4.5. So in order to go from pOH to a positive charge, is the first thing we need to do is take our pOH and convert it to pH. The formula to do that is pH plus pOH equals 14. So now we're going to plug in our pOH. pH plus 4.5 equals 14, which will then lead us to believe that the pH of this is going to be 9.5. Now what we do is the same thing we did in example 1. Oh, just kidding, it's a little bit different. So now we're going from pH to a positive charge, whereas in the last example we went from a positive charge to pH. So the formula for this is 10 to the negative power of your pH equals this positive charge. So we're going to plug in our pH, 10 to the negative 9.5 power equals this. So then we get H plus equals 3.162277766 e to the negative 10, which this is just the same thing as saying times 10 to the negative 10. That's what that is saying. So, once again, sig figs still apply, so we're going to have to round this to 2 sig figs. So, this is going to round up, so we're going to get 3.2, and then this all goes away, and now we're left with this, so it would be times 10 to the negative 10 power. So now we've checked all our sig figs, and this is your final answer. Okay, now moving on to example 3. What is the positive charge of a substance with an OH charge of 5.7 times 10 to the negative 9th power? So the first step we take here is the same formula that we use for pH. So it's going to be pOH equals negative log times OH minus charge, which is the same formula for pH, except it's pH equals negative log times H plus. So you haven't noticed already, OH negative relates in terms to pOH, H positive relates in terms to pH. So when you plug this in, you would get pOH equals negative log times 5.7 times 10 to the negative 9th power, which is then going to give you a pOH number of 8.24 4.125.144. Now we're not just going to round this to sig figs just yet because it's not our final answer, and if we round too soon it can throw off our original answer. So now that we have our pOH, we're going to have to take this and convert it to our pH. That way we can eventually get to our charge that we need, because we cannot just go from pOH to this. We have to go from pOH to pH, then to this. So now we're going to use our formula again. pH plus pOH equals 14. So then when we plug in our pOH, it'll be pH plus this number, don't want to write it all out again, equals 14. So when we do the math for that, we would get pH equals, and that equals 5.755874.856. So now if you remember from example 2, now what we have to do, now that we have our pH, we got to get it to this. So we're going to use our formula, 10 to the negative pH equals this. So we're going to plug it in, 10 to the negative, this number here, I'm not going to write it again, equals H plus. So then H plus, which equals 1.754385964 e to the negative 6, which once again that just means times 10 to the negative 6. Now you guys already know we'll have to round that to sig figs. There's 2 sig figs here. So H plus equals, this will round up 1.8, then we add this, times 10 to